Hello, my name is Jameson Brown, and today I'll be presenting the security plan for Phantom Fly Games. Phantom Fly is a studio that focuses primarily on making RPGs in a 2D pixel art style. While most of our games are single player, we do have several multiplayer titles in development. Because of this mix, our security needs span a wide range of concerns. Throughout this presentation, I'll walk you through the three core areas of our security plan, which address protecting player accounts and data, maintaining multiplayer integrity, and securing our studio environment internally. Each of these pillars is critical to maintaining player trust and safeguarding our business. Our security strategy is built around three pillars. The first is protecting player accounts and data, which covers securing personal information, handling payments safely, and providing reliable cloud saves. The second pillar is multiplayer integrity. Cheating is one of the biggest threats to online games, and we need robust systems to ensure fair play and keep players coming back. The third pillar is our own studio environment. Internal security practices like access controls and employee training are just as important as the protection that players see directly. These three pillars are interconnected. If our internal systems get compromised, player data is at risk. If player accounts are breached, it undermines trust in our multiplayer communities. A weakness in any one area can lead into the others, which is why we need this comprehensive approach rather than addressing threats as individual uh, risks. So let's start with single player risks. Even though cheating in a single player game doesn't affect other players directly, file tampering is still a real concern. When players modify save files or game data, they can easily corrupt the game, lose all their progress, and end up having to completely reinstall the software. By implementing in-game warnings and encrypting save files, we help protect players from accidentally breaking their own experience. This helps build trust in our brand. For any in-game purchases, we should always use established third-party payment providers rather than handling financial data ourselves. This avoids payment card industry compliance costs and reduces our liability significantly. The PCI Security Standards Council outlines strict requirements for handling payment data, and by offloading that to providers who specialize in it, we save money and reduce risk. Cloud saves are another important consideration. More and more small studios are implementing them, and they give players the ability to back up their progress and switch between devices. We need to make sure those cloud services use encryption both in transit and at rest with proper key management, as Microsoft security best practices recommend. Moving to multiplayer, this is where security gets more complex. Cheating directly impacts other players' enjoyment and can cause them to leave the game entirely, which means lost revenue for us. Community trust should be one of our top priorities as our anti-cheat strategy has three layers. First, server-side validation. We verify critical player values like health, movement speed, and ammo on the server so players can't just modify their local game to give themselves infinite health or super speed or anything that gives them an unfair advantage. The Steamworks documentation highlights this as a fundamental anti-cheat measure. Second, we verify game files to detect any hacks that modify game assets. Third, we implement player reporting combined with analytics to identify suspicious behavior, patterns, and ban offenders as recommended by Epic Online Services. On the account protection side, multi-factor authentication is essential. Hackers are constantly finding new ways to access accounts, and MFA adds that critical second layer to block them. According to the OWASP Foundation, authenticator apps and passkeys are significantly more secure than SMS-based verification. For our CFO's peace of mind, these solutions are cost-effective. Dedicated servers range from just $10 to $500 monthly, scaling with our player count. Data protection is about being responsible with what we collect and how we handle it. A key principle here is data minimization, as the Information Commissioner's Office emphasizes. We should only collect and retain information we actually need. Things like player's full name, exact age, or home address have no business being in our databases. If we don't store it, it can't be leaked in a data breach. This practice reduces our risk exposure and potential liability. Employee training is the other half of this equation, and honestly, it's just as important as any technical measure. Our people need to recognize phishing emails, social engineering attempts, and understand why they should only use company-approved software. A single employee clicking a malicious link could introduce malware that corrupts our source code or leaks player data. Regular security awareness training turns our team into our first line of defense rather than being our weakest link. The studio security focuses on protecting our internal environment. The core concept here is the principle of least privilege, which NIST defines as giving users and applications only the minimum access they need to do their jobs. A level designer doesn't need access to our financial systems, and a marketing intern doesn't need access to our source code repositories. This matters because of privilege escalation attacks. As EC Council explains, an attacker who compromises a low-level user account can use various techniques, including malicious code injection, to gradually elevate their access to admin-level privileges. By limiting what each account can access in the first place, we reduce the effect of any single compromised account. Phishing and social engineering remain major threats for stealing admin credentials, which ties back to why employee training is so critical. Combined with MFA on all internal systems, least privilege creates a layered defense that makes it significantly harder for attackers to move through our network, even if they get an initial foothold. So to wrap things up, security for a game studio like Phantom Fly isn't just one thing. It's a comprehensive effort across multiple fronts. For single player, we protect players through file encryption, trusted payment providers, and secure cloud saves. For multiplayer, we maintain fair play with server-side validation, anti-cheat systems, and community reporting. We minimize unnecessary data collection and train every employee to be security aware. And internally, we enforce least privilege access to guard against escalation attacks. The bottom line is, if we want to protect our studio, we need to protect our consumers just as much, along with our own data. Every security measure we implement builds player trust, protects our revenue, and strengthens our reputation in the gaming community. These aren't just IT concerns, they're business priorities that affect every department from engineering to finance to marketing. Thank you for your time. And then here are all the resources referenced throughout the presentation. Feel free to take a look.